Three Black Guys with a Mic, episode 12.
First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of shit.
Sometimes my mama said, you know, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one, okay?
Are you drinking, Maynard?
I don't know.
Are you drinking?
I don't even understand how you could even put Common and Bob Marley and Marvin Gaye, and even Marvin Gaye in the same.
Who's on your iPhone, iPad? Who's in your playlist right now that ain't saying this?
Maynard, I know you a little bit on the right, and Lamont, I know you got that country club lifestyle. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic. Yo, if you're listening to this podcast on iTunes right now, we want you to leave us a review. If you're listening to this podcast on Google Play, leave us a review. If you're checking us out on YouTube or SoundCloud, leave us a review. Let us know how we doing, if we whack or if we dope. And if you think we dope, subscribe to this podcast for new episodes every single Tuesday. Plus, get in on the conversation and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Three Black Guys and a Mic. And now let's start the show.
All right, just real quick, Lamont, to try to keep you happy, because I know how to work with talent. Is there something that you? Is there something that has been on your heart for the past 2 weeks that you want to really have an opportunity to talk about?
I mean, well, that's probably gonna come up, man. But I just need to tell the world that I did talk to my mama, okay. And we talked about Santa Claus, and we talked about the Easter Bunny. Let's try
to get that done in the introduction. Because it's like, yo, remember the last time, just kind of wrapping up like the last show, so to speak, and then let's go ahead, because Spud is going to hopefully get an opportunity to tell us a little bit about his lovely trip and all that. So when you ready to get this started, Spud?
Start. I ain't saying hosting. I ain't saying.
I know. I'm just saying when you going to hit record or whatever, on your end.
I've been recording for the last 5 minutes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again that time. It is Tuesday, and this is Three Black Guys and a Mic, featuring my mans and them, Lamont Hayes, Big Willie Promotions, Lamont, and my man from Hype Boys, my homeboy, my dude, Spud. What is going on, fellas? What is happening?
Let me just kind of, let everybody know the reason why, Maynard is hosting tonight, because sorry to everybody, I wasn't here last week. I was on my anniversary, and we didn't get the opportunity to tape, and we got back in late last night, and I've been going. And so I said, Maynard, you can host. And so he's hosting for the day. And so I ain't doing nothing on this podcast today except for sitting back and listening to the topics that we have at hand.
What he really said is I'm auditioning. I'm trying to keep my job, y'all.
You're not auditioning. That job ain't open. That job ain't open.
Yeah, listen, thanks, Spud. Thank you. Because
there's no openings in that position.
Right, because I am in protest of this foolishness that's getting ready to happen for this particular podcast. This already, number 13 doesn't feel right. This does not feel right. 13 is a bad, it's an unlucky number. And we got Maynard, Scales, Suburban, Black.com at the wheels. This shit don't feel right, man. It don't feel right.
SuburbanBlack.com is blowing up. Y'all know this. It's all good. It's all good. Lamont, how you feeling, though? Other than the fact that you just got an ominous feeling of hate and disparaging me, how are you feeling, my dude? How are you? What is going on in your emotional state?
Hey, man, I'm glad we out here, man. I'm glad that, we are all here to see another day. And I just say, let's get show 13 going.
Let's talk about the Donald Trump administration real quick in this first 30 days, because January 20th is when he got inaugurated. Today is February 20th, and we know this show will be out on Tuesday. The administration has been called dysfunctional, chaotic. In the first 30 days, he tried to get his travel ban jumped off. The national security advisor lied to the vice president, who had to get fired. The shortest term that anybody's ever served as vice president, as a national security advisor, 20-some days. Kellyanne Conway's been out of the loop. She's out there saying things that an hour later turned out to be false. Like, yo, my man has the complete faith of the president. And then Spicer comes back and says, really? And, it's like they're playing off totally different sheets of music. Trump has been out here on the fake news tip, talking about the greatest electoral college win, and got proven wrong to his face in the first 30 seconds of that. Tries to shout out old girl April Ryan to get him in touch with the CBC, which was a little bit reckless. And then just the other day, he mentioned the terrorist attack in Sweden, which is a lot like Santa Claus coming down your chimney. That shit just did not happen.
So you trying to talk about my mama, man?
No. Your mama telling you about the Easter Bunny has a lot more credibility than Trump talking about the terror attacks of Sweden or the fake news attack that Kellyanne Conway talked about that happened at Bowling Green in Kentucky, the terror attack of Bowling Green, Kentucky, both of which did not happen. Lamont, what is going on with the DJT administration, my dude? What is happening?
Listen, man. I've just come to this conclusion is that I really could be the president of the United States after watching this guy and his crew just debacle almost each and everything that they've touched. Even from the travel ban, which, I think maybe you didn't add on that they're trying to rewrite as we speak. Right. I mean, just their whole everything. But you know what? Out of all that, the one thing that I noticed this week, and I had to go back and take a look and tell me if you guys noticed this. Every time he kisses his wife, he never kisses her in the mouth. You ever notice that? He always kisses her on the cheek. And if you think I'm playing, just go back and just Google all of the pictures. And anytime he had any sort of affection or interaction with his own wife. I mean, let's not talk about how you're going to open the door and he'll leave her down the steps and all that kind of stuff. But my mom just always said, even though she lied to me about Santa Claus, is that you can tell a lot about a man the way he treats his wife and the way he treats his mama. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he did. He was the one who said, grab him by the pussy. I mean, that is the president that we have.
Yeah, but there's something that's real. Back in the day, in the movie Jungle Fever, my man Ossie Davis had that speech when he talked to Annabella Scaria, whatever her name was, I can't remember, at dinner, and said that the white man had put the white woman so high up on the pedestal that not even the white man himself could touch her. So then he went out into the slave yard and got him some of that strange cooch from the slave. I don't think they called it cooch, but I mean, he got him some loving from the slaves. So you think there's one or two things that could be happening here, Lamont? Does he have Melania so high up on the pedestal that he don't even want to touch her, or does he know where that mouth been?
Ooh. And again, we don't want to talk disparagingly about our 45th president of these United States, but I'll just say, actions
or his wife.
Or his wife. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I'll be honest with you, out of all of the shenanigans that I've seen, I've heard people say a lot of bad things about this guy. And what I know I'll say is that as a human being, we don't want not anything bad to come to him. We don't want any death or sickness or nothing like that. But we just want him to know that, my man, what you doing is kind of on some clown stuff. You know what I'm saying?
He's
quiet as kept, since we don't let it fly. He's on some clown shit. And he's shown me and the people that are in his group that, just some simplistic things is just using spell check. I mean, when I saw a poster being sold in the White House that had misspelled words, or his Secretary of Education who can't spell apology or apologies and W.E.B. Du Bois correctly, it's like, come on, dude. Like, we can do much better than that. So,
but Lamont, though, we have to say during Black History Month, he shouted out Fred Douglass for doing a great job of the things that he's working on these days.
and don't forget that Mike Pence said that we want to thank Abraham Lincoln for freeing the slaves. We don't want to forget about Mike Pence, and his shout out to. But can I say this real quick? I think that this is about TV ratings. And I think I said this before. It's about, in the 80s, in the early 90s, before there was Michael Jordan or Allen Iverson or anything like that, when you watch the NBA had the lowest ratings during that time because wasn't nobody bringing any excitement or joy to the game of basketball. It was just whack.
You mean the
late
70s, right? You talking about the late 70s,
right? Right, yeah, right. Thank you for correcting me. So it was just men going back and forth. But then when Magic Johnson came on the scene and Michael Jordan and, and the shorts, came and the tattoos came. And then it was like, oh, I want to watch this. Now, it got some swag to it. And to Donald Trump's credit, I mean, this is all entertainment. This isn't democracy or any sort of presidency he's running here. He's running TV ratings. This is about getting the ratings up. This is what he does. He did it with The Apprentice, and he did a great job with The Apprentice. So sorry for my man Arnold Schwarzenegger because Arnold Schwarzenegger I didn't watch one episode. I didn't even know that The Apprentice was on. So that
wasn't The Apprentice kind of sucking in the past couple of years anyway though? Like
no.
The past 2-3 years, it was.
You didn't watch when Lil Jon was on? I mean,
how long ago was that? How long ago was that?
It was kind of going down, but it still had some validity to it, and I think that, and again, Lamont, you can, correct me on this, but it's about more people are watching politics than ever before. My kids are watching politics, and they don't care nothing about, no politics. This is about TV. You do not turn on any television at all, any station, and there is nobody not talking about Donald Trump. Everyone's talking about Donald Trump and the administration. That's the biggest narrative that we have going on in America is Donald Trump and politics.
I agree, but at the end of the day, though, there's a lot of damage being done as we're talking about Donald Trump. Say, for example, up this way, the mayor of New York City, he was just on TV saying, we got to talk to Donald because you know what, Donald? You're down there in Florida chilling at your spot. You're not even at the White House. You're not going to the daily briefings. But you got your wife and your son up here in Trump Tower, and it's costing the city of New York $1 million a day. $1 million a day because his wife
with that money
is up here in the Trump Tower, and they got to, in terms of securing the area and things of that nature, that the city of New York is incurring that kind of cash. Now, not just that, but, even the fiasco with, I guess he was down there chilling with his homies at the Key Largo, wherever the hell they were. Mar-a-Lago, and somebody got the political football, and they posted for the gram, and he ain't supposed to be golfing, and they out there golf. They done did a full 18, and you know what I'm saying? He told him, don't worry about that press briefing. I'll get it when I get back. I got these last 9. This back 9 I got to take care of. So it's like in the outside of what you're saying, which is right, I just think the other side of it is like, I still don't think the dude is taking this very seriously. I don't think he really wants to be the president. And I think in the meantime, it's going to make it very hard for the person that comes behind him to really try to clean up a lot of the stuff that he's doing, that he's messing up, that we don't even know about. So that's my issue.
Let's take April Ryan, Maynard, real quick. Let's take April Ryan real quick, right? And I heard this on Joe Madison, late last night when we were coming in. Omarosa should be pissed right now. And this is what Joe Madison was saying. He's on Urban View, whatever. And he's right. Omarosa should be pissed that Donald Trump would ask April Ryan to set up a meeting with the Congressional Black Caucus. Dog, are you seriously asking a reporter who doesn't even work for the White House to set up a meeting with the Congressional Black Caucus? What are you doing?
Hold on. Mind you now, the Congressional Black Caucus sent him a letter dated January.
Right.
Mr. President, we'd like to meet with you.
Here's what I'm going to say about Donald, man. I'm done because he makes my head hurt. I think somebody has to explain to him, listen, man, at the end of the day, in order to pass any laws, you got to get through that House, you got to get through that Senate. So at the end of the day, even though they got majority in the whole shebang, there's still a lot of what we call people who are eating their own. He actually probably has more, Republican opposition than he think he actually does based on the shenanigans of his first 30 days.
So I think his own party.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, you still got to get stuff passed. You know, you cannot, I heard somebody say this, you cannot govern and be the president off of executive order. It doesn't work like that. So I think, Spud, what you said earlier about people having an understanding of civics, I think you're absolutely correct. People are learning what has to be done. Even I said, I think maybe episode 10 or maybe even 9 or whatever it was, but even with an executive order, it only has so much, so much bite. It doesn't have a lot of teeth because it's not law. So I think we saw that again where that not the Supreme Court as of yet, but those federal court judges, they put a stop to that executive order. Now, again, if it gets bumped up to Supreme, okay, cool. Let's just see how that works out. But I think even after it gets to that point, it's going to lose its steam, because he doesn't have a lot of support, so to speak. So again, Donald has to learn really quickly how this works. And, his band of bumbling idiots, what I like to call them, they need to kind of get it together too, because Miss Kellyanne, who I will say, you got to give her this credit because I had to look this up. She is from Camden, New Jersey, born and raised.
Camden, shout out, most dangerous place in the country, at least when I was growing up.
You know what I mean? So she's kind of got a little G in her some kind of way, and for her to be 50 years old, you know what I'm saying? She kind of looks a little like she's 70, no shade, but she got some G in her. So let's just see if she want to be a shooter, let her shoot. Let's see what happens.
All right, people. I think we have arrived at the time where we need to go ahead and take a break. I need to just digest all of this. Donald Trump is saying this is my party, and I will lie if I want to. Look, we're going to come back in a moment. We'll come back in a moment where we'll talk about Charles Oakley and the Knicks, Nick Cannon, and when you first felt what racism really was. You listening to Three Black Guys and a Mic, goddamn. Come on back.
Exciting news, people! They are back! A new chapter has begun at Exquisite Reserve. All Exquisite Reserve cigars are handmade with the finest tobacco from Dominican Republic. Their brand consists of mild, medium, and full-body cigars in Connecticut, Sumatra, Sun-Grown, Carrillo, Maduro, and aged Dominican. Now, if you know us, we are cigar connoisseurs. We love nice, fresh cigars. No matter where they come from, we love them all. And we personally had the pleasure of enjoying Exquisite Reserve line, Signature One, Royal Elegance, La Victoria, Triumph, Genesis, and the 1991. These are all great cigars for your humidor in all styles and sizes. Robusto, Corona, Churchill, Torpedo, and Gordo. Now, not every cigar is created equal. The goal of Exquisite Reserve is to fashion a vintage experience blended with excellence and consistency for cigar enthusiasts around the world, one light at a time. You better get yourself a box right now. All you got to do is log on to exquisitereserve.com and place an order or follow them on Facebook and Instagram under Exquisite Reserve and on Twitter at Exquisite Reserve without the E. Trust me. If you are a cigar smoker and you love a nice cigar, Exquisite Reserve is a cigar for you. Exquisite Reserve is more than cigars. It's a lifestyle, my man. I've never been to Wendy's and my food is still cold. My fries are cold. I've never been to Wendy's and the mustard is hanging off of the burger and, the ketchup is all on the top of the bun. And, I've never been to Wendy's and had that problem. So that's the reason why we're down with Wendy's, because you need fresh food in your life. You need to stop going to those places that just throw your burger on your bun and don't give you any special attention. Making sure that the presentation of your burger looks good. So you need to head over to Wendy's and grab yourself a 4 for $4. Meal includes choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or a crispy chicken BLT, plus 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and a drink. So you ain't got to worry about going to Wendy's and getting a frozen food because it's always fresh, never frozen at a participating Wendy's for a limited time. Offer not valid in Alaska and Hawaii. Now back to the show, homie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Here is sections. No, fuck that. Let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic. Oh my goodness, it's me, myself, Maynard Scales, Lamaya Hayes, and Charles Spence, otherwise known as Spud. And we want to talk a little bit about the incident.
I just want to say, I'm not editing out your bloopers, but as soon as you said Charles Spence, I'm editing that shit out.
Were you afraid of the government? You got you know what you want to use your government name now?
I don't need no problems.
Oh,
I don't need no problems.
yeah.
I don't need no problems.
All right, so the Knicks, a little bit dysfunctional here lately, fellas. A little bit dysfunctional. Charles Oakley is a great Knick legend. I used to love the Knicks and watch Charles Oakley. He was the enforcer. He, along with Anthony Mason, were enforcers. And we've been away for 2 weeks, so this happened a little bit ago. But Charles Oakley gets into it with security based on Dolan's response to Oakley. Dolan, the owner of the team, said, yo, Oakley can't be here when I'm out. Dolan says that Oakley says some crazy ish to him. Oakley says nothing really happened. I don't know what he's talking about, but the team is in the gutter. They are 3 positions away from the bottom. Phil Jackson's been running the team for a few years now. The magic that was Phil Jackson with Jordan, or the Phil Jackson with the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, just hasn't occurred. With the Knicks near the bottom, just 3 places out of last place in the East, can the Knicks find something to be happy about? We just found out today that Carmelo Anthony is not allowing the no trade clause. He's definitely keeping his no trade clause, and so they can't let him go. What they going to do? First, the Oakley look crazy. The Knicks look crazy. What's going on, Lamont?
Well, honestly, I don't really give a flying. I mean, you know, who trades who? Who cares? But what I will say is, listen, man. At the end of the day, you know, the way they did that guy, as I looked at the tape over and over and over again, you know, and if you kind of like, what do they call it? Read lips, you know, they did my man dirty. You know what I'm saying? I think at the end of the day, it got such a national, you know, it was such a national story that the commissioner had to call Mr. Dolan on the phone and say, listen, you're making the league look bad. You know what I mean? Whatever this personal thing is you got with this guy, fix it. Which is why, you know, I guess in a span of 72 hours, this alleged ban that went down for Oakley was lifted. And I think at the end of the day, you know, I was glad to see dude hanging out in New Orleans at the All-Star game with Lil Wayne, and he hanging out with Manny Fresh at the party and Wiggy, Wiggy, Wiggy. And I think it's good to see Oakley
Wiggy,
as a
Wiggy,
league.
Wiggy?
You know, he grabbed the turntable.
Okay.
No. I saw my man. He was at the party. You know what I mean? So I think just handle it from that perspective. But, you know, in terms of all of the other thing that's going on at the Knicks, I mean, it's a big pile of, you know, dog mess. You know what I mean? And no matter how you put Phil in it or whatever it is you do, I think it's kind of like the Detroit Lions. And I always take it back to Detroit or even the Pistons. They got a curse on them, man. I mean, I think somebody got to go in, you know, get some chicken feathers or chicken blood or whatever it is and put it in the middle of the floor of the court and just try to pray some kind of prayer and get the omen lifted off of them. Because other than that, you could try all this other kind of shenanigans and all that. And whatever, dude. It's still just an omen on the team, man. And it is what it is. So
now some people will argue that the omen came over the team when they brought Isaiah Thomas to the organization several years back.
Well, again, I mean, we can really take it on home. I think at the end of the day, when old man, I was getting ready to say Daly. Now, old man, the guy that used to own the guy that used to own the Pistons that passed away. Come on,
yeah.
Help me out. What was his name? I forgot his name. Anyway, you know, once he passed and his daughter took the team, and the daughter kind of sold to the other guy, and they just kind of really didn't give two hoots about the Pistons. And that's kind of when they went in the toilet. I mean, I think, you know, from what I understand about the Dolan family is that they've always treated their players very badly, the coaching staff very badly. And I think, you know, it's just coming back to kind of haunt them from years ago, man. So, I mean, you know, I don't have the answer. You know, you can't spin your way out of situations like that. It's just kind of, you got to go to the root, man, and just kind of figure it out. I keep telling you, get that chicken blood. Y'all saw Azalea Banks on the Instagram when she had to go clean out the chicken blood when she was killing chickens for 3 years. You see that, Spud?
No, I didn't see that.
What the fuck?
You know, that's her thing. That's what she practiced. So go get Azalea Banks and go get some of them chickens and put it in the middle of the garden and let's just see what happens.
Spud, what you got to say?
I just want to say this, man. Congratulations to Charles Oakley. All right, now here's a black man who beat up some white people in the damn stadiums and ain't nothing happened to him, right? So listen, right? So let's give Charles Oakley a round of applause for Black History Month for putting his hands on some white people, and he ain't nothing. Sorry, first we had OJ, now we got Charles Oakley. So we got two in the record books for putting some hands on some white people and nothing happening. However, in regards to the Knicks,
are you saying that OJ did it?
No, I ain't say that. Now listen, I'm obsessed with OJ, the OJ trial. Now I'm obsessed with it. That's a whole other conversation we can have. At any rate, in regards to the Knicks, Phil Jackson needs to be on the court. All right, that's Phil Jackson is not a front office guy. He's too zen for the front office, right? He needs to be on the court. You want them to win, put Phil Jackson on the court, or either get rid of him or do something. And I think that one of the problems is in regards to basketball, and I can't really say about the Knicks because I'm not necessarily a Knicks fan, but I think you got too many old heads still trying to run a young man's game, and it's a new day, man. I mean, these young guys, I can't even tell you some of these young guys that's on the court nowadays. It's not our generation no more. And so you got these old guys trying to lead these young dudes into a new generation of basketball, and you can't coach them that way. You can't lead them that way. The energy and the vibe just isn't there. Man, listen, Spike, we either need you to give up your seats, or we either need you to upgrade your seats to getting into the administration of the Knicks. Now, you've been a Knicks fan all your life. Now, you already done took away Chrisette Michelle's opportunity to be in your movies. Now, we need for you
I can't go to Brooklyn.
do something, right? Listen, Spike, I need for you to say, listen, I'm giving up my floor seats if the Knicks can't do it. If Phil Jackson can't bring me a championship, or get me at least into the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm giving up my seats. You did it with, Chrisette Michelle. You ain't putting her in the movies no more. Stop going to the game. Step up, Spike.
Maynard, would you
step up? That's what we need.
Spike Lee was getting ready to direct our next promo. Good God, that's down the
right.
I didn't know, Lamont. I didn't know. Nobody prepared me to be the show host. I didn't know this shit was gonna get out of hand. You cannot blast on Spike.
Yo, listen, Spike got the power, man. Right? Spike got the power.
Let me tell you.
Somebody needs to make a stance and say, listen. Hey, man, we paying too much money for these floor seats for y'all to be losing.
Let me tell you what Spike ain't going to see. He ain't going to see the Knicks in the playoffs this season. Let me tell y'all right now. You heard it here first.
or any finals. Right?
Okay.
We thought it was going to happen when Carmelo came. When Carmelo came,
is Carmelo the problem? Is Carmelo the problem? Let's look at it. You put Carmelo in the game, and then you put Amari Stoudemire. I thought Carmelo and Amari Stoudemire was going to be at least a playoff competitive team. That didn't happen. Carmelo couldn't play with Jeremy Lin. They couldn't get to the playoffs together. Carmelo is still there. Everybody else is gone, and they still losing. Is it Carmelo or is it everybody?
He's a franchise. No, it's he's a friend. If you don't have a team, if you don't have Carmelo Anthony, every team has to have some sort of
ain't got a
name.
Team with Carmelo Anthony. You ain't got nobody. You ain't got shit with.
But Carmelo buys the seats.
Carmelo Anthony is overpaid at this point, and I'm gonna say this.
Of course, no question about it. But he buys the seats. That's the reason why we're going to the game to see for Carmelo.
Except for the last time Carmelo was a winner was in college. He ain't won nowhere in the NBA. He ain't do it in Denver. He ain't done it in New York. Phil Jackson can't save him. Phil Jackson really, I don't care. Phil Jackson get out there and play. It doesn't matter. The Knicks are cursed. Phil Jackson is not the kind of the owner, the leader that you think. And Carmelo got to go. Sorry. Period. End of story. Let's move on. Nick Cannon is walking away from America's Got Talent, or maybe he got let go from America's Got Talent and NBC because he went on Showtime with his new special, his new comedian special, where he said NBC stands for niggas be cussing and niggas be careful. And among other things, he says that NBC stifles his persona on America's Got Talent, and he associates the network with white money. Cannon certainly said some disparaging things about NBC. He took a shot at NBC. Now, Lamont, I got to ask you this question, my dude. Is this a bad look for NBC or for Nick Cannon? Because NBC, as you would say, let Dave Chappelle come on and drop the N-word a couple of times on Saturday Night Live, which is right now their big show because, I mean, let's face it, Donald Trump gives them good material each week. Is NBC wrong? Is Nick Cannon wrong? Is Nick Cannon going to miss that America's Got Talent check?
Well, I think, man, first we got to understand, man, that peacock is powerful, baby. You know what I'm saying? That peacock is you don't just walk with a peacock. You know what I'm saying? They all pretty with all the colors. But if you walk up on one, he got something for you. And then all I'm saying is Nick Cannon. What you need to be doing is you need to be calling Bill Cosby. Because Bill Cosby tried that same shit with going up against the peacock. And we see where Bill is at, right? Bill almost 90, getting ready to get 44 counts of popping pills in a woman's drink. So I think Nick Cannon, I'm down with all of the pro-black and the this and the B, you know, they always say what makes a joke funny is the truth in it. So the NBC should be, nigga, be careful. Because you know what? That peacock is strong, bro. So, I mean, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, Nick got a little money. If it get real bad, he can run over the MTV, you know what I'm saying? And put out a little, put a little drum line, 3 out or so, 2, or do a little dancing movie or something and get a little change. But at the end of the day, he's done with that. You know what I'm saying? You don't go up against the peacock like that. And they're going to show him more than they can tell you. And I'll say it again. Ask Bill. Bill tried that shit with the peacock, and you see where he at.
So did anybody know that Nick Cannon had a burgeoning comedian career? Because I don't really check for him like that.
Now, when you say, what was that word you used? Is that similar to, what you tried to drop on us a little earlier?
Let me say this. Is Nick Cannon an accomplished comedian? Everybody got quiet on that.
Let me say this about Nick Cannon. I'm gonna give Nick Cannon his props, and then I'm gonna slightly diss him. All right. I'm gonna give him his props because he hosted the Spud in the Hood Awards, and I appreciate that, Nick Cannon. Thank you so very much. And even though that was 2006 or 2007, one of those years, but I truly appreciate you coming and hosting Spud in the Hood Awards. Now I got that out of the way. Let me kind of say something about Nick Cannon. Maynard, Nick Cannon's walking around with a turban on.
Oh.
All right? Nick Cannon's walking around with a turban on, man. I mean, Lamont, he got a turban on.
Oh, yo, man, he getting his Andre 3000 on, G. Let him live. Let my man live.
Now,
let him live, bro.
Nick Cannon, with his turban on, he blasted on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, in regards to his, emerging career as a comedian, here's what I will give Nick Cannon props about. Nick Cannon is the epitome of someone who doesn't have a problem with taking risk. And I got to give him his props for that. Because he did put out Gigolo with R. Kelly, and he did try to rap, which that was an epic fail.
That man said Gigolo.
Woo. Right?
What year was that?
I'm a gigolo, getting lots. Ain't that Nick Cannon? Hey, I'm a
is Playboy. That's it. That's
right,
him, Playboy.
Okay. I know I had to add that record for him to come to Spud in the Hood Awards, but that's a whole other story. At any rate, so I didn't know that he was a comedian either because he did a special on Showtime again, I think a couple of years ago, and it just, in my opinion, bombed or whatever. But I gotta give Nick his props because Nick is not afraid to try new things and when he was rapping, and then he decided he was gonna try to do a diss record on Eminem. Nick, here is my diss to you. All right? I think that you're a great businessman. I think you're a great executive. That's what I think. I think you're a great executive. And I think that you need to stay in the executive lane and then dabble into a little bit of the hosting game. All right? Because there's not a lot of slots at BET. I just want to be clear. It's not a lot of slots at BET. All right? And they're getting taken up by the Quad and Madiba, and there's a new show coming up. So, Nick, I know you might be able to push that. I know you got the Real Husband to Have in Hollywood going on, so you got relationships with BET. Anyway, here's my point. And you got the college thing going on. I like that. Your inspiration. I think that Nick Cannon's problem is is you're doing a little bit too much. You're on the doing too much countdown. You're walking around with a turban on, and now you done messed up the church's money.
He's shouting out the Illuminati.
And now you done messed up the church's money. Now, let's keep in mind, Nick. I want to say this, and I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna pass the mic back to Lamont. He says that NBC stifles his persona. Lamont, what persona does Nick Cannon have that is stifles?
Let's clarify this. He started with Nickelodeon, right? Where does your persona go?
Where did your persona go? You did national security. That was a bomb. How in the world does NBC and AGT stifle your persona? Now, it may stifle your persona because I understand, because he's a creative, and I understand that you want creative control, and there may be some things that you really want to do that may stifle, your growth in regards to some of the things that you want to do next. I get that, but
they let him wear them
NBC can't.
tuxedos.
And he still was on The Real Husbands of Hollywood. And he still got a Showtime special. And they still let him fly to freaking Howard University twice a week to go to college. And he's still on MTV. So, what is it that you want to do that NBC is not allowing you to grow on AGT? Now, you might have just run its course, which I get. I understand that. Or you might just be in the Howard Stern lane where Howard Stern's like, this is not for me. This is not what I do. But Nick Cannon, this is what you do. You're an entertainer. You host. So Lamont, I'm going back to you. What persona does
listen. I honestly, here's what I think happened. And it probably was more behind the scenes of what the conversation was. Because like you just said, when you broke everything down, there was no issue until you did the Showtime thing. And it's so funny because I saw them advertise the thing on Showtime, but I said to myself, I was probably going to be kind of wax. And I also think what you got to say is this. Nick Cannon is a comedian, but there's a difference between being a stand-up comedian,
right,
which is what the Showtime thing was, which I've seen him do his thing before, and I'm down with, I listen to Foxhole on XM because those are my people over there. One time, shout out to Sirius XM. But it's like, I listen to his clips, and he's just not a funny dude on the stand-up tip. So again, I think it just got back up to the big boys up at NBC when he was up there talking reckless, because that is a direct violation with the big sponsors of America's Got Talent. And they get a lot of money over there. So they're like, yo, Playboy.
But let me ask you this, Lamont. Let me ask you this. Do you think they would have let him, if he just said, I got this joke and I'm going to tell this joke, and, two N-words walking down the street and the other N-word said this to the other N-word and blah, 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 ha, 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 punchline, or that he would have been okay? Or was it because he basically took NBC's name, NBC, and turned it into niggas be cussing, niggas be careful?
Absolutely. It's like, listen, man.
He went too far. So you saying he went too far?
Yes, because it's all about the sponsor, bro. Like, I don't really, I just feel like, and I could be totally wrong, remember Brian Williams? Remember the news guy that, but it was a little bit different. Remember they call him Lion? Talking about he was like in a helicopter firefight or whatever it was.
Right.
And they took him off the nightly news, right? Now, because he's a white old school cat, they put him on MSNBC. They let him sit down for a year because he had like 10 million or 20 million, whatever they was paying him. They didn't take his paper. They just said, look, man, chill out for a minute. You got to go to the other channel. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to fire you, but that's how they do him. Nick Cannon, you a little bit different. Because you got to remember.
Hold on. Before so we make sure this is clear, Lamont. NBC called him and was like, hey, yo, my dude, you got a little bit out of pocket, and we had considered letting you go. But you know what? We want to make this right. We just asking you that in the future, when you about to do something and you're going to use our name, that you kind of clear that with us first.
Yes, absolutely.
And he said,
they gave him a pass.
Said, no, he said, no.
Right.
No, I ain't for that.
And you know why? And you know why he said no?
Because of the turban.
Because of the damn turban. If he would have took that damn turban
on,
he would have been okay. Take that turban off. I ain't mad at you on the turban.
Oh my
but
God. Nick
I
Cannon.
mean,
And so let me say this real quick.
It's just some things you just can't do. It's just some things you can't do.
Let me say something real quick. Nick Cannon, for a minute, my dude, you were really rocking out with Mariah. I was hating on you because I love me some Mimi. Now you ain't with her, and she was the really big money grip with the swivel hip. And here you are out cold on your own. There is not a Drumline 3 lined up last time I checked. And America's Got Talent, that's NBC. That's what we call, the difference is this. There's BET, there's and MTV, which is both Viacom. But that's cable money. The broadcast money, dude, that's broadcast money right there. That's a real serious affair. You blew that. And I don't know if you're going to mess around and get another comedy stand-up opportunity. What I think, Lamont, you were saying is he's a good comedic actor. Like he plays funny roles, but his stand-up sucks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in a space right now, my dude, where Kevin Hart really has the black comedian space kind of lined up all to himself right this minute. And there's several other guys out there who are doing it. You're not on that level, my man. You really aren't. So I'm just going to ask you to
the good thing about it is that he doesn't need to be on that level, right? Nick Cannon's always going to get checks. But that's my point. Nick Cannon has an executive mind, right? He has an executive mind. He's the brain, right? He's not a comic. I mean, let me take that back. He's not a comedian. He is the brain, right? It's kind of like Will Smith and the rapping thing. It's like, Will Smith, you don't rap, man. You know how to make a rap, but you not LL Cool J flow. LL Cool J know how to rhyme, right? Jay-Z know how to rhyme. Will Smith, you know how to make a song or two, but you really know how to act. And that's a little questionable now, Will Smith, but that's a whole other, podcast.
Whoa.
That's the same thing where,
Whoa. Playboy. Hold up. Wait a minute.
He's reckless tonight, Lamont.
You got to put you in the penalty box. And I'm going to say this on the 100. I just saw this just the other day, and the movie with when everybody got like the virus, and he was him and the dog, and they was on I Am Legend. When I saw my man cry, and I noticed that my man was pretty much in the movie all by himself the whole movie. I just had to give up and just say, my man is dope, man. You got to give. You got to give all those, all of those bad records that he made. He gets a pass, bro.
Come on now, man. We going back to Neil Long and all that other shit, right? Listen,
Will gets a pass, bro.
Will gets a pass, but come on, man. All right, Collateral Beauty, questionable.
7 pounds.
What was 7 pounds?
Man, he fought the aliens twice, bro.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit
of Happiness. Hold on.
Don't go back.
I'm hosting tonight.
Don't go back to the Neil Long.
Man, you know what?
Thing.
You know what, man?
We just said this one thing. Let's talk about the last 3 to 5 movies Will Smith has done. Collateral Beauty. Look him up on IMDb. Y'all know it's DBB, whatever it is that I say.
Hey, man, Collateral Beauty. You're getting disrespectful on Will Smith right now, man. Come on, bro.
Collateral Beauty. What was the one he did with Jaden? After Earth. Come on, son.
But that was a bad movie. That was just a bad movie. That was a bad movie concept.
Suicide Squad. Come on, son.
Whoa, Playboy.
Focus.
Wait. I saw that shit on a coast to coast flight, and I thoroughly enjoyed Suicide Squad. You're not gonna do my man like that.
You ain't watched enough movies. You're not watching enough movies out here. You need more movie time, Big Willie. You need more movie time on your iPad. More movie time.
Lamont, your dude
Squad
came back with extra stamps in his passport, and he is throwing major shade. He's blasting on you, Lamont. How you gonna you gonna let him take over your international travel space? Get on him, man.
Don't be the instigator. Don't be the instigator.
He's disrespecting you, man. Can we take a fake break and talk about some cigars, some hamburgers, and some more stuff? We'll be back in a moment with 3 Black Guys and a Mic.
Wendy's, Wendy's, oh how we love some Wendy's. The big news about Wendy's 4 for 4 meal just got even bigger. You know what it is. Wendy's been down with us since our podcast started. So see how a choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken BLT just changed the value game all over again. Meal includes a choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken BLT, 4-piece nugget, small fries, and a drink. So if you need some fresh food, not frozen, if you need fresh food in your life, you need to head over to Wendy's. It's all fresh, never frozen, at a participating Wendy's for a limited time. This offer is not valid in Alaska and Hawaii. There is nothing more sexier than seeing a classy, sexy, pretty, beautiful, long hair flowing woman puffing on a cigar. There ain't nothing more flyer than that. So ladies, if you like cigars or if you just want to up your game, then you need to check out Exquisite Reserve. The new chapter of Exquisite Reserve has begun, and all Exquisite Reserve cigars are handmade with the finest tobaccos from the Dominican Republic. Now, ladies, if you like mild cigars because you don't like all that smell or you don't want to be coughing, they got mild cigars as well. It's all good. But they also got medium and full-body cigars for the more aged and the more mature cigar smoker. They got Connecticut, Sumatra, Sun-Grown, Carrillo, Maduro, and aged Dominican wrappers. Now, we've had the pleasure of enjoying Exquisite Reserve's line Signature One, the Royal Excellent, the La Victoria, the Triumph, the Genesis, and the 1991. These are all great cigars. All great cigars. So ladies, if you want to step your game up with your man, you need to go to exquisitereserve.com. Get him a nice cigar. Y'all can sit on the back porch, or y'all can go to the beach, or y'all can just chill, or go to a cigar lounge and hang out with an Exquisite Reserve cigar. With all styles and sizes from Robusto, Corona, Churchill, Torpedo, and Gordo. Log on now to exquisitereserve.com and place an order for you and your man. And follow him on Facebook and Instagram under Exquisite Reserve and on Twitter at Exquisite Reserve without the E. So ladies and fellas, if you want a nice cigar, if you want to up your game, ladies, and up your sexiness up, and fellas, if you want to have your girl looking a lot more fly these days, introduce your lady to Exquisite Reserve. It's more than cigars. It's a lifestyle. And now back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, the cactus of the week. Maynard usually does the cactus of the week, but I am taking over the cactus of the week this week. The cactus, ladies and gentlemen, goes to Bob Romanik. Bob Romanik decided he was going to go off on one of our own, I'm not going to call him a hip-hop legend, but one of our hip-hop stars. One of our own, Mr. Waka Flocka Flame. Bob Romanik went off on Waka Flocka Flame because, as you know, Waka Flocka Flame decided he was going to take a Trump jersey and wipe his behind with it. Then, Bob Romanik went on his radio show, 1190 AM, and went off on Waka Flocka Flame. Called the Was My Dog artist a greasy black nigger, son of a bitch, during his broadcast. This is what Bob Romanik called Waka Flocka Flame. Now, if it had been another black man, this is Bob Romanik talking, you think that Trump has done anything to this man? Trump will probably do more for this black nigger than Obama's ever done for the proud black community. In my opinion, of course. Think about it. We're talking about Waka Flocka, that greasy black nigger, son of a bitch.
Every time you say it, makes my hair stand up. Goodness gracious, I'm uncomfortable right now. Go ahead.
I don't know who the owners of 1190 KQQZ is, but I put my call in already. And it suggests everybody who is offended by Bob Romanik call and say he needs to be fired, be off the air, because he has decided to go on the air and use the N-word, calling Waka Flocka Flame a nigger on the radio. Now, if I did that on my radio show, if I called Bob Romanik a cracker ass cracker at that, on my radio show, I would be immediately dismissed. Bob Romanik, I understand that you probably don't like Waka Flocka Flame, and you know what? I didn't agree with Waka Flocka Flame wiping his ass with a Donald Trump shirt. That ain't cool. That ain't cool at all.
Yeah, that's jersey belonged to a fan. He took it from a fan, too.
It was a jersey, so yeah. So that ain't cool for, what I'm saying? Anybody who blatantly disses or disrespects, Donald Trump, I'm not with that. You ain't got to agree with Donald Trump. You got your opinion about Donald Trump. That's fine. But for you to go on radio and to tell your listening audience that Waka Flocka Flame, somebody you don't even know who does anything for his community or for his family or whatever, to call him a greasy black nigger, do you know how disrespectful that is, not only to the black community, but to your listeners of a radio, and as a fellow radio personality who also does a talk show? This is not how you do or conduct yourself professional. My man, you get the fucking Cactus of the Week, my dog. This is some bullshit. And anybody, if you know, I should even fucking find a number and have you call. I wrote it down earlier, but I don't even have it. Anyway, everybody should call and say, yeah, this man, Bob Romanik, should be fired for his comments on Waka Flocka Flame. You may not even know Waka Flocka Flame, but he's a hip-hop artist in America. One of the biggest, I don't want to say hip-hop artist, one of the biggest rappers from Atlanta. Bob Romanik, you get the Cactus of the Week, the month, probably in 2017. As a matter of fact, I'm a mandate that Maynard give you another Cactus of the Week next week when I'm hosting. And then Lamont might give you a cactus after that. Now I'm done.
You all right, brother? You good? You sure?
Oh, my God.
Hold on, man. You sure, Playboy? You good over there?
Oh, Jesus.
All right, man. Well, listen, man. Let me just say this one time to Waka Flocka Flame. 75 million views on one of my favorite songs, No Hands, with him and Wale and Roscoe Dash. It was funny you say that, Spud, because when I heard that too, man, I immediately went to the, because I'm not a lawyer, but I wanted to know what the law stated in terms of the FCC, which is the organization that owns the license for that radio station. And what's scariest, or the most scary thing in that whole scenario, is that the law states is that the station is only in violation when it's something that is offensive. You know what I'm saying? And that's the word. And again, what scares me is that, the people that listen to that station might not think that that's offensive, bro. So it's like, for some to say that he's in violation of an FCC law, because I also want to give a shout out to Paul Porter from BET back in the day. He actually had this guy on his radio show down in Florida. I don't remember what town it was, but and Paul was trying to talk to this guy in a very intelligent space, trying to explain to him that what he said was offensive and you shouldn't do it on the air. And this guy kept talking about, well, it's my right and this and that and boom, bam, boom, and this, it's almost like you can't try to explain something to a fool because then somebody gonna think you a fool. But I think at the end of the day, man, you on point. It's a scary time. And I do honestly believe that this is Donald Trump's fault because of the air that Donald and the level of I don't even want to call it unprofessionalism, just the level of unclassiness that Obama brought to the office, Donald has. And a lot of people just are like, you know what? We're going to make America great again. We're going to go back to this level of just ignorance, being disrespectful, and just being blatant in a lot of our views, and we don't give a fuck who it offends. You know what I mean? So I think, it's a real scary time. And I think, the best thing for me, man, is to put on some Waka Flocka Flame and do the No Hands, bro. I mean, because you're right. This dude, he does get the Cactus Award for a very long time for that shit he pulled. That's real. So, Maynard?
All right, let's talk. Let's get real quick into the Beehive and find out what's going on. Lamont, old girl Adele dropped the album 25, came away with album of the year. She sold, 9 million copies in stateside, some 20 million copies around the world. Beyonce, and then she gets the award, and then she apologizes to Beyonce and gives her a tribute, which I thought was like a sign of respect. And Carlos Santana, who ain't did a whole lot to give us anything here a lot lately. I mean, he's a legend. He's a legend, a guitar legend. I think Carlos Santana is a little bit bigger than the Will Smith in the game on what he's done. But he says that, Adele is a singer, and Beyonce really ain't a singer. She's more of a performer that, he alluded to, like, she's a sex symbol, she's a pop artist, but she don't have that big, huge presence in a voice that Adele had. And the Beehive came after him, and he got to look out for them daggone Mexican bees coming up on him. What is going on? Is Adele's album with 9 million sold worthy of album of the year?
Now, are you asking me that question?
Yeah.
Well, I think we all know the answer. Unfortunately, we got to go with, it's not it's a good record, you know what I'm saying? But it's not Beyonce, and I think if we have to go for the entire album piece, Beyonce did have a better album. Adele had a couple of big singles off of her 25 album. But again, the Grammys is just leaning towards, and when we say the Grammys, we got to look at the people that actually vote for the Grammys. And I did a little small post on this, and people were talking about boycotting the Grammys, and they're discriminatory. And actually, the solution is very simplistic. While we making it rain up in the club, and we all at All-Star Weekend, and we always at the party and doing X, Y, and Z. Let's just vote. There are enough people in the music business, especially in the urban space, that are not voting members of the Grammys. And it's about as simple as that. So, it is what it is.
Let's do this real quick. If you multiply Beyonce's stateside sales by 4, you get 8 million.
Yeah, but it's not based on sales. That's the problem.
Hold on, but it may not always be based on sales. It's just a question. And right. Even when you get to that 8 million, old girl still has an extra million on top. She got 9+ in America, and Beyonce almost didn't actually hit 2 million up into a certain day. So, are the sales not an indicator of how popular and how big that album was?
No, it's based upon the voting members and what they consider to be album of the year. If you go through the whole entire Grammy system, there are tons of people who have Grammys and they ain't sold no records like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and then we already been on here, however long it's been, Spud, you keeping time. But I'll just say this, it's not based on sales. It's not based on popularity or what the actual consumer may think. It's about the voting membership of the Grammys organization on what they think. So it's no different than the Golden Globes, the Emmys, and all those other kind of things. It's about the people that actually vote. And if that makeup of the voting pool, no different than Donald Trump, and shout out to all of the people in West Virginia and the coal miners. Like he said, those are the people that carried him in certain states, and that's just how it rolls. It's all on the voter base. Now, some people argue that some of the voting is fixed. Now, that might be a different story. There could be an electoral college type of thing going on the Grammys. Yep, that could be it. But from a popular standpoint, which is how the Grammys normally works, it's just 1, 2, 3, whoever gets it, that's how it works.
Spud, what do you think, man? You were a programmer. What's up? Was the Adele album monster, or was the Beyonce album just superior?
I think that the Adele album was monster, and here's the reason why it was monster. You got to realize that the Grammys and most of the award shows, again, are based on ratings. And so you got to get the biggest stars to be able to get as many people as possible to be able to watch that, to be able to pay get the advertising dollars. So let's look at, the track record here. All right. So Beyonce put out, in the time that Adele sat down from 21 to 25, let's just say that's 4 years. So Beyonce then put out 2 albums, possibly 3 albums within that time. So here comes Adele. The expectation for Adele to come back is like through the roof. So in one day, Hello went so, I mean, it sold so many, I don't even, that probably is what sold the 9 million copies right there just on Hello. Because you probably could only name one other single off the album, and I know it in my head, but I don't even know the song. But Hello is the song. That's it. That's what the album is about. So for her to win Album of the Year is kind of challenging for me to accept that, because you really, like Lamont said, you really only talking about 1 to 2 singles, maybe 3 singles that you can name. But from a universal standpoint, if you look at Lemonade, you're looking at Formation, you're looking at Hold Up, you're looking at All Night, you're looking at, I mean, you can, it's so many singles.
That's three.
I mean, that's on the album, you know, I mean, I ain't even, what's the other one? Not Hold Up, it's
sounds like you only got 3 or 4.
Becky with the good hair. Sorry. Daddy Lessons, which was, you know, which actually where Beyonce performed at the American Music Awards with a country group. So, to Lamont's point, you got a lot of older people in the Grammys that are voting for these albums that don't understand the new art. And Beyonce's Formation is artistic. They don't get that. They get, oh, Adele is simple, it's traditional, it's easy. I understand that. Here's the reason why they can give it to a Taylor Swift, or they can give it to, you know, an Adele. They understand that. It's systematical. They ain't rocking no boat.
So let me ask you this. Does Beyonce have to win each time she come out?
No, but let me say this one last thing. Here's the best point about the Grammys, right? Aside from Steve Stout taking out his article a couple years ago on Artie Acadia or whatever the thing is. David Bowie finally gets 5 Grammys one night. This man's gone to the next life. And he's now finally getting recognized for his music. This is all Donald Trump's fault.
What?
I wanted to just throw y'all off with that one. I'm sorry. I'm just playing.
My head hurt.
I'm just playing. I'm playing. But let me make my point. In regards to, you know what I'm saying, my Donald Trump's point. Award shows are about ratings. How do I get more people to watch the ratings? So now what we're going to do, we're going to watch again next year to see who gets Album of the Year, so we can have the same conversation over and over and over and over again. I can't say if Beyonce deserved it or not. My personal opinion is yes. Factually, in my opinion, yes. Beyonce has more notoriety, more publicity for Lemonade than Hello does. But because Hello is an album that is in the waiting, people were waiting for it, the agents and the music executives, and Lamont, you can back me up on this one, the record executives are like, yo, you better give Adele this Album of the Year, or she ain't coming, and she ain't performing, and she ain't doing this.
That's right.
She ain't doing all that.
That's right.
So if you want for Adele to be there, fly her from England or from London to come, oh, you better give her Album of the Year. No hating on Beyonce, because we like her, but
that's right.
You better get this, because this girl done came, she done got a surgery on her vocals, now she done came back and blew the roof off of this album. Oh, you better give it to her. And that's how it worked.
All right.
Right or wrong, Lamont?
That's right. Amen.
Okay, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this show. It probably ended about an hour ago. I don't even know. But just as a recap, it's all Don Trump's fault. My man, Bob, what's his name? Bob Romanik he got the cactus, and Thottlers is my new favorite thing.
Thottlers is the new thing.
Whoa. So y'all just gonna throw the cooch out in the trash?
Oh, yeah.
Cooch out here, G. We got to get the cooch.
It's cooch out here in these streets. Thottlers is my new favorite thing. what's his name?
Bob Romanik.
Bob Romanik is wilding out, calling people crazy kinds of crazy.
Greasy black N-words is what he's calling them.
It makes me feel uncomfortable just thinking about how it just
damn,
comes
Bob
out.
Romanik, you could have just called him, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what? Black boy. You could have just been a regular nigga. I would have been okay.
You had to go with the greasy black.
Why you gotta be a greasy black? Damn.
I mean,
So, but can we be for real though, bro? There really are some greasy black. Right? I mean, am I wrong? Are they not? I mean, you know what I'm thinking? I'm just, and no disrespect one time, but I just think about Bobby Shmurda. Doesn't Bobby Shmurda sometimes, didn't he used to look a little greasy? Right?
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm just saying.
oh, Jesus. Oh, my goodness. For episode 13, I'm and Lamar Hayes and Charles Hyde Voice Spence. I'm Maynard Scales. Join us next time with 3 black guys to the mic, if you don't mind. Talk about greasy black niggas.
Woo! This was a deep episode, but we want your feedback, baby. Let us know what you thought about this episode of 3 Black Guys with a Mic. Email us at 3blackguyswithamic@gmail.com. That's the number 3 blackguyswithamic@gmail.com. If you're listening to this podcast on iTunes, leave a review. If you're listening to this podcast on Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you're listening to this episode, leave us a review. Let us know what you think about it. We'll be back again next Tuesday with another episode of 3 Black Guys with a Mic. Holla back.